Do you ever have those moments where on the outside everything looks fine? You're getting things done, checking things off, but inside you're feeling lost. Like you're going through the motions, but you're not even sure if you're going in the right direction. Lately, I've been feeling this way, and I wanted to sit down and talk about it. Not because I have the answers, but because I'm trying to figure it out too. Maybe you've been there, and maybe we can figure it out together. Hey, Plannerettes, welcome to the Marianne Cresp podcast. I'm Marianne, and if you're new here, I share how I use planning, not just for productivity, but as a way to manage the overwhelm of day to day life, be mindful, and actually take care of myself. Lately, I've been dealing with this weird feeling of being both productive and lost at the same time. I started questioning why I feel this way, and through doing a bit of research and a lot of self reflection, I found some things that make sense to me. I want to share them not as an expert, but as someone who's just trying to make sense of it all. Just a quick disclaimer, this episode is based on my personal experiences and research. It's for educational and entertainment purposes only. If you're struggling with overwhelming emotions, please seek professional support. The feeling of being lost, even when you're doing everything right, can be frustrating. The other day, I sat down at my desk, planner open, ready to start my day. I had everything mapped out, my top 3 priorities, my schedule, my habit tracker. On paper, everything looked perfect. But as I looked at my list, I just felt disconnected. Like, okay, I'm doing these things, but why do I feel like something is missing? I've been feeling this weird in between space. It's not burnout, and it's not that I'm stuck, but it's like I've been doing all the things I'm supposed to do, planning my days, staying on track, showing up for my habits, and yet something still feels off. I thought that by staying consistent, I'd feel more progress, more clarity. But instead, there's this quiet, nagging thought, is this even working? Am I missing something? I thought if I just showed up every day, if I kept tracking my habits, if I stayed consistent, I'd feel more in control, more confident. But sometimes, even with all that, I still feel unsure. And I think that's where we get stuck. We assume that consistency alone will make everything click into place. But sometimes consistency just keeps us moving forward without really pausing to check in if we're headed in the right direction. I thought that if I stayed consistent, I'd start seeing the results I wanted. But instead, I feel a little lost, like I should be further along or things should be clicking into place by now. I've noticed this feeling usually sneaks up on me when I've been running on autopilot for too long. When I'm just going through the motion of planning, working, checking things off, without actually checking in with myself. And I started asking myself, what do I do with this feeling? Because my instinct is to do more, add more things that might fix it. But honestly, I don't think that's the answer. Instead of piling on new habits, routines, or strategies, I'm just going to make sure I pay close attention to the things I already do. And hopefully, you can do the same. One thing that's been helping me navigate this feeling is using my planner for more than just tracking tasks. It's become a way to check in with myself, not to keep up with my to-do list. I have this daily habit of logging my mood every morning, and I can't tell you how much of a difference it makes. It's such a small thing, but it helps me stay aware of how I'm actually feeling rather than just going through the motion of my day. So every morning, before I dive into my to-do list, I write down a quick check-in. How do I feel today? Just a word or two? Tired? Motivated? Restless? Meh. It might not seem much, but over time, I've realized it helps me spot patterns I wouldn't have noticed otherwise. For example, if I've been writing tired for days in a row, that's a sign that something's off. If every Tuesday I write, meh, maybe there's something about my schedule that drains me. If I feel stressed every Sunday night, maybe I need better way to transition into my week. That's when I know to pause and ask myself, why? Am I overcommitting? Not resting enough? Ignoring something that needs my attention? Acknowledging my mood, even when I don't immediately have the answer, helps me be more intentional instead of just pushing through and hoping it gets better on its own. If you haven't been tracking your mood, I really recommend giving it a try. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just jot it down in your planner like I do. And if you want a simple way to get started, I have the Ultimate Planner Bundle printable, which includes a monthly mood tracker to help you spot patterns and a weekly morning journal for self-reflection. I'll link it in the show notes if you want to start making this part of your routine. Now, I've also been reminding myself that not every moment needs to be productive, giving myself permission to pause and just be, even for a little while, has made a big difference. For the longest time, I felt like every minute of my day needed to be used. Like if I wasn't being productive, I was falling behind. So even when I feel stuck, I try to push through. I tell myself, just get through this, then you can rest. But the problem is when you're running on empty, pushing through doesn't actually help. It just drains you more. The first time I let myself take a guilt-free break, actually let myself enjoy it, I realized I came back feeling clearer, like my brain had more room to process things again. So lately, I've been building in little unplanned moments, just 10 to 15 minutes where I let myself sit, doodle, or go for a short walk without an agenda. I even bought paint by numbers canvases, and when I feel stuck, lost, or questioning my progress, I set a timer on for about half an hour and just paint. It's such a simple thing, but I've noticed that when I do this, I feel a little less stuck, like I'm giving my brain a chance to breathe. Another thing I've started to do is ask myself one simple question. What actually feels good right now? I caught myself constantly asking, what should I be doing? Am I doing enough? Should I be further ahead? The other day I was feeling super off, just that heavy, sluggish feeling where everything feels like an effort. I had a full to-do list, but I couldn't focus. Instead of forcing myself through it, I grabbed my planner, took up my colorful pens and markers, and spent a few minutes decorating my weekly spread. No pressure, no productivity, just colors and stickers. And somehow that tiny act of creativity shook me out of the funk. It's weird how something so small can do that. So ask yourself, what actually feels good right now? That doesn't mean ignoring responsibilities or dropping everything. But if I'm feeling off, instead of pushing through, I find small ways to add something enjoyable, something that makes me want to be in the moment rather than just going through it. Sometimes that's as simple as playing with stickers, washi tape, or fun colors in my planner, because planning should feel fun, not like another chore. Or giving myself permission to scroll through funny videos for 5 to 10 minutes without guilt, just for a little reset. Or lighting a candle while I work, changing up my playlist, or planning my next week at a cafe instead of at home. It's about making space for joy, even in the middle of everything else. So what do I want you to take away from this? I think feeling lost isn't necessarily a bad thing. Maybe it's just a sign that we're ready for a shift, ready to approach things differently, ready to ask different questions. Instead of seeing it as a failure, maybe we can see it as an opportunity, a reminder to pause, check in with ourselves, and make sure we're still aligned with what actually feels right. You're not alone feeling this way. It's normal and it doesn't mean you're failing. And you don't need a big fix. Small tweaks, like checking in with yourself while planning, can help you feel more connected to what you're doing. And it's okay to pause. Letting yourself have a moment to step back doesn't mean you're slacking. It actually helps you move forward with more clarity. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who might need to hear it too. And I also have a free printable with 5 weeks worth of daily positive affirmations to help you reframe any negative thoughts. Check the link in the show notes. And let's keep the conversation going. Join my free Plannerettes community and let me know how you check in with yourself when you're feeling a little lost. Thanks for spending this time with me today. If you've been feeling lost, I hope this gave you a few ideas to gently work through it without overwhelming yourself with a whole new routine. You don't have to figure it all out at once. I'll see you in the next episode.